Have you ever wanted something so bad that you just kept seeking and seeking and you would do whatever it takes or whatever it took to obtain what it is that you wanted? I've definitely done that in the past, and an example that I can give you was a couple years back when I was getting my driver's license. I just wanted it so bad. Like, I didn't have any words for why I wanted it that bad. I just wanted it so bad. I knew that I was tired of my parents driving me everywhere. I knew that I wanted freedom to, have personal space in a car, have extra time with God. Like, I just knew that I wanted a car. I didn't know how I was going to get one. I didn't know how I was going to get the driver's license. I didn't know any of the hows, but that wasn't for me to bother about. That wasn't even on my mind. What was on my mind was what I could control, which was how much time and energy and effort that I put into studying for my G1 in order for me to go write the test and obtain my G1 so I can start driver's school. So I remember I studied all throughout summer. Then I studied, 4 more months after that. And I basically spent 8 months nonstop seeking, right? To get as much knowledge as I could, to get as much information as I could in my head. I ingrained it in my head so that I never forgot what it is that I was seeking. I always knew what the end goal was. I always knew what the prize was. And that was obtaining my G1. And after 8 months of every Friday for like an hour studying, going over, the G1 manual, going over every single piece of writing, every word, literally buying a notebook dedicated to notes about driver's lessons, watching the most YouTube videos, after putting so much time and energy into it, there came the day where I was like, you know what? I think I'm ready to write my G1. So I went in there to write my G1. The place was packed, but we came pretty early, and I sat there for 4 hours. And when I got up to get my, give my birth certificate and all these other things that I needed to go in and write my G1, I came in with the wrong identification. And unfortunately, after 4 hours of waking up early in the morning to write my G1, I wasn't able to write it because I did not have the things that I needed to write my G1. So I went home and I felt really discouraged, and I was like, what is all of this for? Like, this is the worst pain I felt in my life. Like, why did I seek, and nothing came out of it? This feels like a waste of 8 months. And mind you, I went to write my G1 on December 30th, which means it was basically a day before the new year. And I really, one of my biggest New Year's resolutions in that year was I wanted to write my G1. I wanted to get my driver's license. And I was like, I'm not going to be 16 in a new year without my driver's license. So that was like a big goal of mine. And I felt really discouraged when it just didn't happen. It didn't happen the way I thought it was going to happen. And I felt like I asked, I searched, I knocked, and nothing came about. And it just was a really, really discouraging moment. I cried out to God. I was so upset. But then I'm like, I did not study this for 8 months. I did not spend all this time and energy. I did not sit there for 4 hours to just walk away empty-handed the last minute. And I remember I was watching a prophetic word on YouTube, and the person who was saying it, I was watching Shantia Deja, and she was saying, like, God can move at any time, and he can move in the very last minute. He can move when you think there's no more time left. And I also made a video saying God lives outside the matrix. God lives outside time. And so I was like, I remember that. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go on December 31st. Literally on the last day of that year, I'm like, I'm just going to go in and I'm going to try to write this again, and I'm going to have everything I need, and I'm going to come fully prepared. And, we ended up driving around. We couldn't find the place because I tried to do it my way, and I'm like, no, I want to go to this specific place, right? And I ended up getting the address wrong because I wanted everything to be my way. And so we ended up driving around for like an hour, going absolutely nowhere, and it was super stressful until we finally drove to the place. And the place in which we drove was the place I originally went. And turns out I'm the one that got the directions wrong. And if only I would listen, if only that I would pay attention to what my mom was saying, then we would have got there earlier, and it would have been better. But I ended up having to stand outside a line, and I ended up being there for double the hours I was before. So I ended up being there for 8 hours, and when I got up, I was so tired, but I gave her everything I needed to give her. She said good luck, and I went in, I wrote my G1, and I passed with like a 38 out of 40. And I just remembered the relief that I felt, like the absolute relief that I felt, like a burden was lifted off my shoulder. The very last minute, my work and everything that I did paid off, right? And I don't remember the times of sorrow. I don't remember the times I was super upset because I had to go home. I didn't remember the times where I sat for 4 hours, then for 8 hours. I didn't remember the times that I didn't have anything to eat the whole time I was there. I didn't remember any of that. All that was on my mind was the victory that I had. This story had nothing to do with my G1.